shoot, sorry.
Oh, it's all right. Bring it back.
Be an ad. I didn't know there was going to be an ad.
Oh, there's an ad in it. Oh, they did. Oh, no.
These mofos.
They ruined the vibe.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ray. We got that. It's kind of the vibe, man. Mm-hmm. You know, when someone tries to take away a primary mode of defense, it is not something to take lightly. And I think that brings us to the topic, Ray. I was texting you like, what's the lead topic you want to go with? And you always have a good vibe on that.
Oh yeah, no questions. When I want to do topics, I look into them so I know which ones I really want to talk about. Mm-hmm.
And we got one for you. Big news. I hadn't even heard that it happened before Ray let me know. If you don't know, this is Ray Studios, host of the Ray Infinity Show that is really popping off over on Rumble. How's it going, Ray? Before we get into the topic, we'll get into the topic in 1 second. How's the show going? Anything you want to tell anybody? Support. If you have a link, drop it in the chat.
The most important thing right now is I'm trying to build my Twitter up, and my Twitter has just been booming. Like I've already gotten more than triple the amount of followers I've had beforehand. So yeah, I'm gonna send the link to you in the private chat, and then you can pin it in the chat. Because I'd rather grow that first than grow my Rumble, because that to me is just more important right now.
Smart, man. You're getting it focused. So right now he's focused on Twitter X platform, and he put it in the private chat. Let's go follow Ray Studios on X.
At Ray Studios 29.
At Ray Studios 29. Of course, I'm already following them, and I'm gonna go put that in the chat and pin it up.
Yep.
Let's get it going. Yeah, there's a lot. We can talk about that. Oh wow.
What?
We got suspended. Yeah, we got suspended because of the video, I guess. Let me see.
What?
Yeah, they took down the live.
Oh shoot! I'm sorry, man. I did not know that.
It's all. Was that from Rumble or is it on YouTube? I thought it was from YouTube.
That was on YouTube.
The video you played?
Yeah.
Oh wait, no. It looks like it's up. Is it up? I clicked on the live and it said stream taken down for content or something.
Let me see.
But now it might be back up or something. Let me see. I think it's back up.
I see it right here.
Oh no, it got taken down. It got taken down and put back up, I think.
No. What happened? What I think happened was they just took that. They didn't play that video right there. Then all of a sudden, when we stopped playing it, they just put the rest of it back up. So I had no idea.
You know what? Here's my message for you two. We grown ass men. What's going on right now? What's going on right now?
Yeah. Let's just say, as a Christian, I'm going to ask God for forgiveness after I say this, but I'll just say it. Fuck YouTube.
It's just, and I am grateful for the opportunity, even as dystopian as YouTube is. But I just want to remind people, we grown-ass men. That's what's going on here. This is complete. But, at least they brought it back up. I didn't even know they did that. They took it down and brought it back up to...
It happened. That's not the first time that happened. Remember on my show one time where we were watching some Joe Rogan clips? Same thing happened, but they took those videos away off from the live, but then put it right back up right after we stopped playing it for a minute or two.
Okay, you bitch ass YouTube. Okay, keep on going. But no, it's cool if they put it back up, so it saves time from having to reset up the live or whatever. I saw Cyan say I'm off to Rumble. And I was like, wait, why is Cyan going to... Do you see it in the chat?
I see it.
Yeah, I was like, okay. I was cool.
If she's on Rumble, tell her to come back to YouTube.
You can come back, Cyan, if you want. Rumble's good. So here's the problem. Before we get into the topic, we might as well just talk about it since we're here. Yeah.
Did you pin it?
Let me see.
Yeah, you pinned it. Okay, I see it.
Yeah, follow Ray Studios. It's a pinned. Follow Ray. I should probably say follow Ray or something. But while we're doing that, Ray... I was gonna do like the Crowder thing, where you start and Viva and Barnes do that, where you start your stream on YouTube, and then you go to Rumble. I think it's kind of a good idea. Yeah. But the problem with it for me is with StreamYard, I don't get the chats in StreamYard, so I'm always having to go back and forth, and it's just kind of awkward. And then now you got two chats. You got a YouTube chat, then you got a Rumble chat. It's a little much. So I just, I'm like, let's just maximize YouTube and still, of course, try to build up Rumble. But I like your strategy, though, Ray, to build up X,
Yes.
formerly known as Twitter. You
I still
can
call
do
it
that
Twitter.
now. I know you would. Yeah, and even Elon updated the Apple Store, to say formerly known as Twitter, because people searching Twitter probably can't find it. But I like your strategy of building up Twitter.
Like I already have 450 something followers now. I used to have 80 something. Now I have 450. Because now what I've been doing is I've been putting more and more attention, getting more active on Twitter.
Yep. So there's a strategy on Twitter that you can do now, where a lot of people are talking about, is really just replying. So you reply under these tweets that go viral. And for me, I'm not just going to reply unless I think I have something to say. But a lot of people just reply to reply, or with a GIF or with a meme. And you can get a lot of followers and views that way. I think that's very smart, Ray. Let's build it up. Let's build up X, and then that will branch off to maybe Rumble or just straight up X. I don't know if you saw that. We're going to get into the headline topic here. After we do the headline, if we have time, I'll show you. I don't know if you saw Linda Yaccarino posted a video about how Twitter is going to change. Maybe we'll get to that.
I did not hear about that.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be pertinent. That'd be a good one to talk about. I mean, that's a conversation we would have off live, but why not have it on air? But let's go to the headliner. Okay. Let's not delay any. Well, it's fine to delay because, see, they cut it off. Now it's back on, but it's hard for. I don't know if people can even see it or.
Yeah.
But let's look at this here. This is the headline. The headline is Judge Strikes Down California Ban on High-Capacity Gun Magazines. Ray, stop me whenever you want. Here's the basics of it.
Yep.
A ruling, the federal judge in California, U.S. District Judge Roger Benitez.
That one girl on Twitter, Sassy, something, I forgot what her name is. I forgot, man.
Josie, the redhead.
Not her.
Oh.
It was a different girl. Someone that me and you both follow, and that we actually get along with pretty well. Her name is. Give me 1 second. Digital Sass. She's on Twitter. Me and you follow her.
Yeah.
Me and her were talking about the fact that that this judge, he and his wife both have Hispanic background, and they're both considered far right extremist racists. So
are they really?
Yeah. Gavin Newsom even called him a far right extremist. So
wow, yeah, in his reply to it. Yep. Yep. Federal judge in California, U.S. District Judge Roger Benitez, and shout out to Digital Sass. That's someone I've just recently been interacting with on Twitter. Declared the state's ban on magazines that hold more than 10 rounds of ammunition unconstitutional. He stated that it violated the Second Amendment rights of firearms owners. It's the second time that Judge Benitez has struck down the law. The first time was in 2017, which was later reversed by an appeals court. These articles are Reuters. I got this from Reuters, CBS News, and I think another one.
And the thing is, this actually does not go into effect for another 10 days. But until that happens, they actually have a chance to appeal it again. California does, which I still don't understand how that makes any sense. You already appealed it once. You're appealing it. You can appeal it a second time.
Well, and it will go up. So it will keep going up to potentially my understanding is to the Supreme Court.
Yeah,
is where they're heading, and the Supreme Court can decide whether to take it or not. We'll see what happens.
And I'm still not confident that they would strike this law down. I'm not confident because if you look at this closely, the Second Amendment rulings that the Supreme Court is doing is stuff like making sure everyone has the ability to carry a weapon. You can't stop someone from not carrying it just because people can have these kind of weapons. Now, I still don't know what they would do on something that's part of a gun, not like the full thing, like an accessory, not just a device you add to it, but the ammunition that you have to it. So I still don't know what they would do with it. I don't know what they would.
Yep. So we don't know where this is going to go, but just to give a little bit of historical and legal context, the U.S. Supreme Court in a June 2022 decision New York State Rifle. And so New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruin required that firearms restrictions be consistent with the nation's historical tradition of a firearm regulation. Remember that? That was just last year. And so that is the ramifications that's helping the judge this year, or right now, we found out today, rule against this. The Supreme Court's decision set a new standard that leans more on the traditional, historical tradition of gun regulation rather than public interest, including safety.
Yep.
And here's the thing. The Second Amendment doesn't have any type of safety clause to it.
Nope.
So, and we can amend it if we want to.
Like, a lot of the things that these leftists, they say, when they talk about the Second Amendment, they say, oh, look at the first paragraph. It says a well-regulated militia. That means we can, regulate it however we want, severe regulations. When they don't realize what that means is well-regulated, for what regulated, one of the definitions for regulated means is actually well-trained. And the founders just got done fighting a revolution to free themselves from a tyrannical government. And they used the militia to do it. What do you think they meant when they put that in? For real?
Yes, I think from looking at it, it's the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights are for the people. So why in the world would James Madison write in the Second Amendment? Why would James...
Before that, you have a super chat.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Cyan. Always a great friend of the show. Let's get to the super chat. Oh, so YouTube is okay with Black Americans singing about killing cops, but not average Americans defending themselves against criminals. Antifa. Gotcha. Thank you, Cyan, for the $5 super chat. And that's the kind of stuff that we see here. I mean, you can shake your ass. You can do all kinds of stuff. I've seen some stuff I won't even talk about on YouTube. On YouTube right now, some of it not even age restricted.
You can even see, there are even some people who post softcore porn on YouTube, and that's allowed to be up there.
Yep, some of it's not even age restricted. Like, for example, WAP is. I don't believe WAP is. The last I looked at it, that's not age restricted. I'm not saying I want it to be. I'm just comparing the kind of the hypocrisy here. But Cyan's right. Yeah, you never know.
WAP, by the way, should be age restricted, in my opinion.
I have to think about that. Yeah, I wouldn't.
Because you wouldn't just allow a kid to just watch porn. That's illegal. We all agree on that. Why watch WAP? Which clearly what WAP meant is I'm not sure I can actually say it right here because
you can say it. I'm not worried about it. If you want to say it, you can say it.
A dude masturbating, pretty much. That's what it means.
So yeah, you know what my thing is. I don't think it should be age restricted. What I think it should be, what they can do is say, this is recommended for 18 plus or whatever the age is. And if you have a kid account, you as a parent would have an option to say they can't see anything over 16 or 18. You don't need to really, see, the problem what I have is they want to take all the control. We don't need Google to take the control. If Google gives us the label and said this is an adult content, do with it what you will, that's fine. They don't need to be gatekeeping the age on it to me. Yeah. But it's kind of a semantics. I still agree with labeling it as mature. So when my kids they like YouTube. So when my kids use YouTube, I can say, don't give them anything that's blocked off.
I don't think you want to come home from work one day and see your kids watching WAP on YouTube. I don't think you want that. So yeah.
No, but you see what I mean? The difference is they don't need to gatekeep anything. Just give us the label and I'll gatekeep what I want to gatekeep. Yeah. That's the battle that we're having in the country. It's the same as the 2A battle.
Yeah.
It's like they want to gatekeep what safety means. No, that's not the agreed upon contract. The Constitution is the contract that keeps us together as states. This is the number 2 amendment. There's nothing in it about safety. So I know that there's safety concerns. I'm not saying that there aren't, but there's nothing in it about safety. And I don't like this. The court system gets to interpret this. The Second Amendment is right there. There is no interpretation that needs to be done outside of what it is.
Can you imagine what'll happen when the Democrats try to end the filibuster and actually successfully do it? That means they're going to pack the Supreme Court, and guess what? They're going to appoint left-wing judges, like radical ones, and guess what? They're going to take the Constitution from a left-wing perspective. And what do you think they're going to do with the Second Amendment? I'm just asking, guys. I'm trying to bring up a valid point here.
Oh, we know. I mean, we've seen what's happened in New Mexico. And here's my takeaway from this one, Ray, and all of these. I'm all for the court cases. I'm all for fighting this in the courts, but there is no enforcement. There is nothing stopping Gavin Newsom from doing it again.
Yeah.
So if Gavin Newsom says, I don't care about the ruling from the judge, what happens?
Nothing.
No one in California is going to arrest him or impeach him.
Yeah.
The federal government's not going to go after him. So what's going to stop him?
Like, remember during the pandemic where Kuma was stopping people from going to church? And guess what? The Supreme Court said you can't do that. But guess what? Kuma didn't care. He still did it anyway.
Yep. Yeah. So we're watching that there's no system in the world that's perfect other than in heaven. So we're watching the cracks in our system kind of open up. And I'm telling you, we're really close. In Grissom in New Mexico, remember, did that ban in the couple areas because of crime. So then she got taken to court. So then she switched it to just playgrounds in a couple areas.
So
parks and playgrounds.
Yeah. So what do you think they're going to try next, though? Like, go ahead.
Well, they're going after guns. Period. They're going after. They're going after taking away. Period. So what they're doing is chipping away at it.
Yeah.
They, just chip, stretch the Overton window. Now it's not. Now it's not crazy if a governor were to say, "I'm going to ban 2A in a couple areas."
Yeah.
We've seen it before. Just like you've arrested Trump 4 times. Oh, it's no big deal. We arrest him 5, 6, 7, 8.
Well, we kind of already do in some places anyway. Gun-free zones. Like, you noticed all these mass shootings. All of them take place in gun-free zones. Is that just a huge coincidence? I highly doubt that.
Nope. And if you want to talk about safety, there's an argument to have on that. I just hate that they're always pushing the Overton window to, okay, now we're debating about safety. But wait a second, safety is not in the Second Amendment. So I don't even know why we're even debating. It's not irrelevant. I mean, it sounds crazy to say a little bit, but when you look at it, it's not there. Like in the First Amendment, it doesn't say anything about safety.
Nope.
You have the right to say it. I mean, there can be consequences, but it doesn't say, you can't say anything about trans people because it might be dangerous to them. That is not a part of it. Yep. So they're going to that stochastic terrorism.
Yeah. And if we're going by like relevance, like what's the word again? I'm forgetting what the word is. Precedence. My mistake. If we're looking for precedence, we can go back to when the founding of this country. Guess what? Men from 16 and up were required to have a gun and ammo and powder and all that kind of stuff, and they were required to bring it everywhere they go, even to church, especially in Georgia. If you go back and look at some of these laws in Georgia, men were required to bring their guns everywhere they went to. Literally, you can look this up.
Yeah, and so here's my thought when going into this live today. One of my thoughts, Ray, was I'm like, okay, on the playgrounds, I think you should be able to, on a public playground, be able to exercise your Second Amendment right. But what do you think about in a government building?
Oh, yeah. The government can't regulate it.
So you're right. And so I was off. I've been off on that. I'm like, okay, on the government building, you should be able to regulate it. But if you say that you can regulate it in a government building, then why can't you regulate it anywhere? Yeah.
There's no reason. That's why I said I had this very unpopular opinion, but I'll say it. I think we, the people, have the right to own nukes. I truly believe that.
I agree completely. Tim Pool is one of the only people who's out there who will say that. It says right to keep and bear arms. It doesn't even say guns.
Yeah.
So it applies to anything.
Yeah, like I'm a big fan of Justice Scalia, and you remember the Heller case, which actually guarantees us the right to keep and bear arms. One of the things he said in the thing that I disagree with is that he says that it's not unlimited. There can be some regulations, but not dramatic regulations. I completely disagree with that. There shouldn't be regulations of any kind.
Yep, it is, and we have if we want to change that, we've had the power to do that the whole time. Yeah. We can't agree on changing it, so it is right there in print what it is, and it's not going anywhere. But Gavin Newsom did propose a 28th Amendment. Did you see that by chance?
Yeah. I saw that from Collian Noir.
Yeah, he is great.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and speaking of a Second Amendment advocate, we can pull this video up that I have right here in the share screen.
Mhm.
Like I'm not sure if you know who this guy is, but like he's like Collier Noir, but he goes like deep into court cases about Second Amendments. And like after like this ruling happened, the magazine ban being struck down earlier today, he immediately did this video. He's the armed scholar, and I think we should look at what he says right here. If
Yeah,
you
let's
don't
play.
mind.
Oh, absolutely. Let's play it. I've heard of him. Yep.
Okay, everybody, we just got some crazy news. For all of you asking what was going on with Duncan v. Bonta, when the Judge Benitez is going to rule, well, we just got his decision in the California magazine ban case. I'm a little bit out of breath because literally just saw this pop up and ran to my office to pull you guys up the video so I can look at this. Going to look at this real quick. Obviously, I'm going to put up a more comprehensive video down the road, but let's just look real quick at the final decision, the conclusion of this. Removable firearm magazines of all sizes are necessary components of semi-automatic firearms. Therefore, magazines come with the text within the text of the Constitutional Declaration that the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Because millions of removable magazines, firearm magazines, able to hold between 10 to 30 rounds are commonly owned by law-abiding citizens for lawful purposes, including self-defense, and because they are reasonably related to service in the militia, the magazines are presumptively within the protection of the Second Amendment. So magazines clearly as arms protected by the Second Amendment. There's no American history or tradition of regulating firearms based on the number of rounds they can shoot or of regulating the amount of ammunition that can be kept and carried. The best analog that can be drawn from historical gun laws are early militia equipment regulations that required all able-bodied citizens to equip themselves with a gun and a minimum amount of ammunition in excess of 10 rounds. Let's kind of go to the order now. I want to jump a little bit to that. Defendant Attorney General Rob Bonta and his officers, agents, service employees, and agents, and those persons in active concert or participation with him, and those duly sworn state peace officers and federal law enforcement officers who gain knowledge of this injunction order, are known of the existence of its injunction order, are enjoined from enforcing California Penal Code 32310. Defendant Rob Bonta shall provide by personal service, otherwise actual notice. So again, kind of what he's doing. And then he says that this injunction is stayed for 10 days from the date of this order. So he's ruled against California. So just quick, I'm going to do a more comprehensive video down the road for everybody who needs to know. I know I'm going to be bombarded immediately with this. He's issuing the injunction against the magazine ban. Unconstitutional, violates the Second Amendment. He's issuing an injunction against it. His decision, this injunction is stayed for 10 days. So it does not go into effect for 10 days. Obviously going to give California the opportunity to appeal up to the Ninth Circuit, which they're going to do. Going to do a more comprehensive video down the road, but we did get the decision from Judge Benitez. He's found it unconstitutional, enjoining it, but there is going to be a stay for 10 days. That's the quick takeaway. I'm going to do a more comprehensive video, but that's what you guys need to know. Again, share this around, spread the news for everybody asking what's going on with Duncan v. Bonta. There's your big update. So again, if you guys like this video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share it around. And as always, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And don't forget, the station was built by Armed Scholars, and the station will be maintained by Armed Scholars.
Excellent. Excellent. Your thoughts after you watch that, Ray?
I completely agree with everything he said right there. Like the Constitution does not say you can regulate how many rounds a person can have.
And the data bears out at work.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Like you said, there's no precedence at all in American history that regulates the amount of ammunition or the type of ammunition someone can have at all. Like there's in my opinion, the NFA, the National Firearms Act, is the most unconstitutional law of them all. But between that and the Patriot Act, those are the two most in my opinion. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Where are we making this stuff up? Like, where are we getting this from? It's very simple. We just pulling up where's the ammunition coming from?
There's nothing in the Constitution that says you're not allowed to own a machine gun.
Yeah. So we're just making stuff up. We're just making it up now.
That's why I can't stand the National Firearms Act. So yeah. And no one wants to repeal it. No Democrat nor Republican wants to repeal that at all.
Yep, the Constitution, it only means what we want it to mean at the end of the day. And I'm starting to open up to the mistakes we've been making. like, oh, we want to do this thing for safety, or oh, it's okay in this case. I think I understand that, even though everyone knows it's not constitutional, that
Yep.
opens the door to all kinds of madness. So this video I have in the background is Gavin Newsom,
Yeah.
and this is from January. Greg Price posted on X. Gavin Newsom says the Second Amendment is a suicide pact while being flanked by multiple armed security guards. You truly can't make this up.
What about our kids when they're going to school? What more can we do?
There isn't a more fake politician out there than this dude.
And again, we look at that all the time. I mean, we did another half dozen gun safety bills last year. We'll continue to find whatever loopholes we can. We'll continue to lead the national.
He's talking about gun safety. These two guys with shades on in the back have guns.
Between him and Al Gore, I should say, with that part.
Al Gore's up there too. He's being flanked. He's got his flanks covered by dudes with guns while he's talking about taking away the ability to guns for just to defend yourself, basically. So they always say, well, we don't want to take away the guns. We just want to do this. But where does that end up? Yeah. So if you allow that, then okay, then you can allow the next thing. Then you can allow the next thing. There's no restrictions on his people.
Yeah. This is something that a lot of the leftists always say. Well, back then when the Constitution was written, there were no such thing as assault weapons. And the founders, you could not have seen that. Here's the thing. The founders, if you didn't know, they knew the technology would advance. They were well aware of that. These were probably some of the brightest minds in history at the time. You're telling me they couldn't have foresaw something like that? Now, they couldn't have foresaw something like social media, but they could easily see that the technology would advance for weaponry.
Oh, and, for sure.
And plus on top of that, back in those days, these so-called assault weapons, which is not even a real term, there's no such thing as assault weapon, but these so-called assault weapons actually kind of existed. The pepper box revolver could hold up to like 30 plus rounds in it. And you could just pull it once and it would just fire all at the same time. There's the Genie Doney air rifle, which could fire like 20 or 30 rounds, I believe. I could be wrong about that. Then there's the Puckle gun, which could fire up to 50 rounds in a few seconds as well. Also, there was a few other ones. Forgot what it is. The belt and flip. I mean, the Genie Doney air rifle was actually used by Thomas Jefferson to outfit the Lewis and Clark expedition, if you didn't know that. Also, there's the belt and flintlock, too.
Yeah, great information. No, I am not a especially historical gun expert, so that's great context and information. There was a story that came out that the Biden White House is establishing new...
Well, my mistake. The Genie Doney air rifle could have 10 rounds in it. The belt and flintlock could fire up to 20, 30 rounds. My mistake.
Okay.
So yeah,
but your point still stands. Yeah.
Yeah, but still, though, I had to correct myself.
Yeah. So in related news, President Joe Biden is establishing the first ever White House Office of Gun Violence Prevention to be overseen by Vice President Kamala Harris. So just what we need, a new, what is this even, a new branch, it's not a branch, but a new committee, a new.
First was the Ministry of Truth, the Disinformation Board. Now we have this.
Yep. It's a new office, the first ever office. The office aims to implement existing laws and collaborate with local authorities to pass gun safety legislation at the state level. So when we say that, it feels like New Mexico is kind of like collaborating with the federal government. We can kind of say that almost definitively now. Yes, almost. But here's my thing. I haven't heard Joe Biden say that he disagreed with. Has anybody federally from the Joe Biden executive branch, White House right now, said that they disagreed with Governor Grissom's ban on 2A in the whole state, basically?
Yeah, no one has.
So I have the right to say, to me, it looks like you're collaborating with the federal government. The federal government can't even say that they disagree with you, and then they come out with this office that says, it literally says in the release of this is on ChatGPT, I just summarized it, that they are going to collaborate with local authorities. Why is the federal government collaborating with local authorities?
Isn't that collusion?
Like, is that? I mean, I guess the federal government does that, but yeah, it just doesn't seem. And my other theory, Ray, is that these blue states, basically all the states are blue. They're just different shades of blue. All these blue states are collaborating with the federal government to squash their political adversaries, the people who live within some of these blue, purple, half blue states. And there it is right there. That's evidence right there to me.
Yeah, that is a good point that you made right there, man. A really good point. Like I could understand you with them like collaborating with local governments on like crime or stuff like that or funding, but talking about constitutional rights, nah, man, nah.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it's collaborating with states, and we have the Second Amendment. It's clear. There's nothing you can do there. But they're still they put Kamala Harris in charge, and they literally in the statement says they're going to collaborate with local authorities. The office will be, what's that?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, sorry. So Stephanie Feldman, a longtime policy advisor to the president on gun violence prevention, will serve as the director of the Office of Gun Violence Prevention. There's advocates in here joining. The president released a statement saying that it's important to take action against gun violence and mentioned that while previous steps were significant, they were just the beginning. Another thing to look out for is there's different types of gun violence. Like, why are we lumping it all in together?
Yeah,
we'll see what they come out from it. But you've got mental health, and you've got
well, the vast majority of gun violence are suicides, gangbangers, and people defending their homes against criminals, and also cops shooting bad guys. That's what the vast majority of gun violence is in this country.
And every single one is a different type of problem. Some of them you might not be able to do much about. I mean, this is something with America that we have the right, and there's always a positive, and there's a downside too.
Yep. So yeah, like where do you see this going now? I'm curious what you think about this. Like,
it's going all the way. This is 2030. This is all a part of the 2030 agenda. This is all a part of it. Everything that's happening right now. 2024 is going to be crazier, I think, than we can even imagine, because who wins the presidential election in the United States is extremely important to the 2030 agenda, because you're president all the way 4 more years. So you're going to be going all the way right up against the 2030 agenda. Once you get to 2028, you're almost there. Yeah. So this is very important for the globe. This is a global thing.
Yeah. Well, like I remember what I told you. I don't know if I messaged you or something like that, but like I told you on Twitter in a conversation with someone else that there was an article about the 2030 agenda that there will be some people that reject what the system implements, but those people will be living on the way outside the cities, on the outskirts, and they'll be living in like 1950s century homes, 1950 style homes, and pretty much like they're rejected pretty much by the regular society. So, like,
yeah. So you're saying by like when 2030 hits?
Yes, that's what one of the articles. Let me see if I can find the article, but you can continue on right there.
Yeah. Look up see if you can find the article. I'm just using ChatGPT right now to kind of get some information on the 2030 agenda, and we'll see where this is sourced. But the 2030 agenda, and this one is for sustainable development, is a transformative global framework adopted by all United Nations member states in 2015, and encompasses a set of 17 sustainable development goals that aim to address a wide range of global challenges, including poverty, inequality, environmental degradation, and peace and justice. Here's a comprehensive overview. So there's this call to action on all fronts. Is basically every front, every walk of life. Like, what doesn't fall under that? Yeah. Environmental, peace, these are very vague terms here. Underneath that agenda, we've got people who are basically consolidating power. They're not going to call it the consolidation power agenda of 2030. And I think it is under China, but either way, they're not going to consolidate it underneath that. They're going to say, well, it's for the good. Here's Gavin Newsom talking about it. This was Gavin Newsom to the UN. So he's in front of the UN and he's just grandstanding. And here's just a little clip of him right here. One of the most weasel politicians I've ever seen.
For us to be a lot more clear, this climate crisis is a fossil fuel crisis. This climate crisis persists. It's not complicated. It's not complicated. It's the burning of oil. It's the burning of gas. It's the burning of coal. And we need to call that out. For decades and decades, the oil industry has been playing each and every one of us in this room for fools. They've been buying off politicians. They've been denying and delaying science and fundamental information that they were privy to, that they didn't share or they manipulated. Their deceit and denial going back decades has created...
So you get the gist of Gavin Newsom just grandstanding in front of the UN, obviously trying to run for president. If it's not 2024 in the future to set that up, you can share that anytime, Ray. You see that he's trying to set it up for him to run, and he's looking as the president right now. I read a thread yesterday that had the theory that he's going to become VP. But let me share this here that Ray found the article.
Yeah, so this is something really interesting right there. Like, this is in a way like a smart city kind of thing. So yeah, and by the way, this comes from the World Economic Forum. They just took the page from them and then just posted it right here. So yeah, let's go down right here. Let me read a few paragraphs and you'll see what this is. And the opening paragraph literally says this: "Welcome to the year 2030. Welcome to my city, or should I say, our city." So you own nothing, and you're happy. Like it says right here, I don't own anything. I don't own a car. I don't own a house. I don't own any appliances or any clothes. Basically, they're renting everything. So yeah, let's just read right more into this because this gets a little more interesting. It might seem odd to you, but it makes perfect sense for us in this city. Everything you consider a product has now become a service. We have access to transportation, accommodation, food, and all the things we need in our daily lives. But what they do is they provide all the like bare necessities, but and everything else will be out of reach because it will be too expensive. That's the basic gist of it. So yeah. Let me get down. Go ahead.
Oh no, I think that fits right in line with what we've been seeing. It's almost like, we talk about inflation. It's almost like I don't think, we have proof of this, but it's almost like, is inflation what they want?
Like, listen to this right here. First, communications became digitalized and free to everyone. Pretty seems what's happened going on right now. Then, when clean energy became free, things started to move quickly. Transportation dropped dramatically in price. It made no sense for us to own cars anymore. Because we could call a driverless vehicle or a flying car for longer journeys within minutes. So we started transporting ourselves in a much more organized and coordinated way when public transportation became easier and quicker and more convenient than car. Now I can hardly believe that we accepted congestion and traffic jams, not to mention the air pollution from combustion engines. What were we thinking? Yeah, so, yeah. Let me get down to that one part right here. Okay. Yeah. Oh, but this part says good. In our city, we don't pay any rent because someone else is using our free space whenever we do not need it. My living room is used for business meetings when I am not there. I don't even get what that means. I don't understand what that means. So.
I think maybe read it again, but here's what my take is. Where I'm at, the cost of living is very high. What we're seeing is very often people are having to have roommates at this point. And it's what we could trend to. The prices have actually kind of slowed up a little bit. But what we're trending towards long term potentially is not just housing being unaffordable for many, but even renting. So what you'll have to do is rent a room, and you'll have maybe some bunk beds or whatever, and it'll be 10 people in the kind of the apartment area.
A pod,
so to speak. And then you will have virtual reality, where maybe you'll have a little section in the room where you go to work. Maybe it's a 15-minute city, but you work virtually, depending on what job you do, before AI starts doing it. And you put on your goggles, and you don't really go anywhere. You're getting closer to the Matrix, pretty much.
Yeah, people are gonna become fatter than even I am right now. So, like I said, I'm working on it, but still, though, I'm just being honest right here. So, yeah. But yeah, I'll repeat it like you asked me to.
Yeah, repeat it.
It says this: in our city, we don't pay any rent because someone else is using our free space whenever we do not need it. My living room is used for business meetings when I am not there. So
yeah, that's what that means. I mean, it's saying that you won't pay rent, but what the price is, obviously nothing in life is free. The price is you'll have 10 roommates or that living room space. This is getting literally to communism, right? I always forget the difference between socialism and communism, but we're getting to communism where you don't own the space. Who's going to own the space? The government's going to own the space. Just like the grocery store we talked about in Illinois. Who's going to own the grocery store? They literally are making a plantation. They're literally turning these cities into plantations.
Yeah, we're just too dumb not to realize it.
Yeah, we have more of an illusion of freedom. I think it's better than being whipped. And don't get me wrong, but it's all an illusion.
Remember Tom McDonald's song "Fake Woke," where it says like they never freed the slaves. We just can't see the cage, and now they're just replaced with the cell phone and technology. So
exactly. Taco was like, "Bruh, hell nah."
Yeah,
but see, it happened so slowly. We accept where we are now, with the income tax and all these different things that were supposed to be temporary or never even were supposed to happen. You mentioned the Patriot Act. We just accept it as normal, even though we've seen it now used against not just regular citizens. We've seen it used against the person that regular citizens voted to be president, and we still accept it.
Snowden was the one that exposed all of it, and look what happened to him. He literally can't come back to America, otherwise he will be killed.
Yep.
So,
and look what happened to Russell Brand. I'm not going to say what if the allegations are true or not, but we're seeing the government separate from the allegations. The government doesn't have to go after him and try to demonetize his way of living. He hasn't been even charged with anything. So and he talks about the same type of topics.
Yeah.
This isn't even a right or left thing. How did this even become political, Ray? This isn't. This is about life.
Yeah. So let me continue with the article right here. Mm-hmm. It says, once in a while, I will choose to cook for myself. It is easy. The necessary kitchen equipment is delivered at my door within minutes. Since transport became free, we stopped having all those things stuffed into our homes. Why keep a pasta maker in a creep cooker crammed into our cupboards? We can just order them when we need them. So,
yep, and we're already there. Like the songs I play, I don't own them anymore. I used to have records. I still have some of them with me on what I used to have wax, and I tell my kids like this is the best audio platform for most types of music. But now it's all on. I have it on Spotify now. I don't even own the songs that I listen to.
Yeah. Well, I still collect physical media, so yeah.
Smart.
Yeah. Forgive me for my coughing. I've had throat drainage for over a week. So
shoot. No, it's
I'm
all
fine.
good. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Like this part right here. This also made the breakthrough of the circular economy easier. When products are turned into services, no one has an interest in things with a short lifespan. Everything is designed for durability, repairability, and recyclability. The materials are flowing more quickly in our economy and can be transformed to new products pretty easily. Environmental problems seem far away since we only use clean energy and clean production methods. The air is clean, the water is clean, and nobody would dare to touch the product areas of nature because they constitute such value to our well-being. In the cities, we have plenty of green space and plants and trees all over. I still do not understand why in the past we filled all the free spots in the city with concrete. This right here, though, this is interesting. The death of shopping. So let me read this right here. Shopping, I can easily remember. I can't really remember what that is. For most of us, it has been turned into choosing things to use. Sometimes I find this fun, and sometimes I just want the algorithm to do it for me. It knows my taste better than I do by now. So there you go. There you have it. What do all these social media companies, all these companies do? They listen in on what we're doing, even though there's no way they could find out unless they were listening. And they probably know us better than we know ourselves.
Yep, and we're getting there. I mean, we've seen this with the Amazon store that has no cashier, no security, and we are getting there. It's collecting data on us right now. It will literally know us better than we know ourselves.
Yeah.
The AI will do that. We are is like a pattern of our habits, and a lot of us, we're very regimented in our patterns. The algorithm, what it does is it just bases this stuff on probability.
Yeah, like Tim Pool said, the algorithms know when we take a dump. So,
and it literally that was from a Facebook. I think I forgot how that came out, but that was from Facebook that they literally knew, or could get the probability of when you would take a dump and all that.
Or it can decipher when a woman is pregnant based on the way she's reacting on social media.
Yep.
This is scary stuff.
Yeah, it's not even as hard as you might think it is. It's just, it's collecting all this data. Matt Gaetz was on Tim Pool's show the other day. It was a great episode, and I believe he brought it up where he said it's not even just defunding the FBI. Maybe you could get to that. Is what my take was. My thought was on what he said. He was like, we got to stop turning them. We got to stop them from collecting data. That's what they're doing now. It's like they're collecting data and they're trying to predict who's going to be the criminal.
Yeah. So yeah. And this part right here gets into AI right here. You're going to want to listen to this. When AI and robots took over so much of our work, we suddenly had time to eat well, sleep well, and spend time with other people. The concept of rush hour makes no sense anymore, since the work that we do can be done at any time. I don't really know if I would call it work anymore. It's more like thinking time, creation time, and development time. They live different kinds of lives outside of the city. So yeah, right here, and this part right here gets into we'll finish the AI part, but yeah. For a while, everything was turned into entertainment, and people did not want to bother themselves with difficult issues. We clearly see that right now with my generation. They're lazy and they don't want to do any hard work. So, yeah. It was only at the last minute that we found out how to use all these new technologies for better purposes than just killing time. So, yeah.
And we're getting to that point now. There was a story that came out that TikTok and most of the social media companies are trying to get their people back in the office. They were virtual during the pandemic. They're trying to get them back in because we saw a lot of them have been bragging on social media where they're making $150,000 a year and they ain't doing anything. I mean, I'm not hating them. If you can do it, do it. But the problem is the companies are like, we don't want to do that anymore. TikTok, they launched this app that's going to track whether you come into the office or not.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like you've seen all these stories about at some workplaces, people install chips into their hands so they don't even have to clock in so the job knows that if they come in or not.
Yep. So we're already getting to that point where, because you just read, hey, I don't want to deal with rush hour anymore. Yeah, people got used to, I can just go on, and even if you're working hard at home, you just go on your laptop and you're on it, and you don't have to commute. You can go, you can run to the grocery store if you need to, if you got, a little bit of time. It's very convenient, and it does go towards that. Well, we don't even need to interact with each other anymore. Like,
Yeah.
right? We don't even need to talk to each other anymore. A lot of these offices that had bustling with people, and they'd be downtown, and what's his name? Louis Rossman, the guy in New York. I think he moved, but he talked about it like since the pandemic, it's like a ghost town down there. So all the businesses that had to, that fed people for lunchtime, they had to shut down, and now it's all online. So you're changing the whole fabric of society. And why did it change? For the most part, for something that we know now it didn't really need to
Convenience.
change. Yeah.
Convenience. So yeah. And now I'm gonna get right in. I'll repeat what Cheyenne says first then.
Yes. What rush hour you'll be in your 15-minute city?
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now I'm going to get into the people that are going to be outside, with what they say will be outside of the city, who won't be part of the system. So, yeah. Yeah. And by the way, this article is like from the perspective of something that's already happened. So like a story of someone from 2030 telling people what life is like. So, yeah. This is what this person says. My biggest concern is all the people who do not live in our city. I'm pretty sure this is people like me, you, Carlos, Sal, Adam, Ed, Jason, Greg, Steven, all of us. This is all of us right here who will not be living in these cities. I'm letting you know right now. I can already tell. Those we lost on the way. Those who decided that it became too much, all this technology. Those who felt obsolete and useless when robots and AI took over big parts of our jobs. Those who got upset with the political system and turned against it. They live differently. They live different kind of lives outside of the city. And listen right here. Some have formed little self-supplying communities. Others just stayed in the empty and abandoned houses in small 19th century villages. I want to repeat that right there. Some have formed little self-supplying communities. Others just stayed in the empty and abandoned houses in small 19th century villages. OMG.
Now, this is to stay out of the matrix, basically, right?
Pretty much. Yep.
So what's going to happen, though, is, because you're going to have robotics as well. You're getting to the place where you're going to have robotics. I believe New York just showed off a new police robot. I got to double check that. I saw a headline recently.
The dog robots?
I think it's a different one.
Oh.
But yeah, they have the dog robots that eventually they'll be able to go on whatever terrain and have a camera, have weapons potentially. So what I'm saying is, I don't want to scare anybody, but if you want to hunt down the people, like, isn't that in every dystopian movie? You got the people who are like, just like in the Matrix, we're living off the grid. We're hiding off in these caves or whatever. And the robots, the sentinels or whatever it is, the dogs, they're going to be automatic and they're just going to be roaming looking for you. I mean, that's what's going to happen.
So yeah, like and also it says like some live in those old abandoned homes. So is this pretty much referring to the suburbs, possibly, like abandoned homes?
I don't think it's going to be the suburbs. I think the suburbs are going to be taken over. I have a feeling that's more like city areas with like dilapidated. I used to live in Detroit, the east side of Detroit, where there's unfortunately a lot of dilapidated homes and burnt. You'll go down I used to drive down the street over there, different streets, and you would see homes that were half burned. Like they were just there chilling, just half burnt, half of no roof or whatever on it. Yeah. You'll be in those type of places. I even believe like in the sewers, in caves, wherever you can go to get off the grid.
Yeah. So, and also it says that there are some people have created like self-supplying communities. I'm pretty sure this will be like me, you, and Carlos and all of them doing this kind of stuff. I'm pretty sure of that.
Yep.
Like I'll go ahead.
Well, I was going to say real quick, my take is you're going to have to be able to use artificial intelligence as a defense mechanism. That's the 2A of the future, is AI. So you'll have to be able to use AI. You'll have to have robots. Even if you're off the grid, you're going to have robots for defense.
Yeah. hmm So like when it's talking about self-supplying communities, that that means we're gonna have to get our own land. That's why I suggest to you, like we should buy some land together, really, because it's gonna come to a point like this, and just pretty much live off the grid.
Yeah, that's smart. I mean, you see a lot of people buying up land, so it's
Yeah.
expensive. It depends on where it is, but it can be expensive. But yeah, you need to buy the land, and then you will need a way to protect it too.
Yeah. So like, I'm judging by this article, and plus, not everything will be exactly the way it's presented in this article, but some of it will be similar. So,
Yep.
like, do you think they will just allow those people to live outside the cities and not
No.
follow the matrix?
No.
Or so, what do you think they'll do to them then?
Oh, it's gonna be hunted down like dogs. I mean, that's what's happening now. It's not. It hasn't gone to you and me yet, but that's how it is. You start. Why would you start with you and me? We don't have any reach compared to like Russell Brand. Russell Brand's got millions of people following. You've got Steven Crowder's and your people like Tucker Carlson. Tucker was really cutting through when he was on Fox News, and they ran him up out of there. You're gonna start with those people. Alex Jones, Owen Shore. You're gonna start with those people first, then you trickle down. And when you get to the masses, that's when you need the social credit score because there's too many people to imprison and hunt down.
I had my friend Jay on the other day. Like I told you who he was, and like he said what he thinks will probably happen is there's going to be a lot of people that go live in the Appalachian Mountains where it's going to be harder for them to be found, and they can just sit up there and just wait out all the entire thing. So pretty much like the Taliban did in Afghanistan, where they were just like in the mountains there, and they just let the time go. They just waited us out, and that's how we lost the war.
Yep, that's exactly how you would need to do it. Because even if they have robotic dogs and such, it could be difficult for them to go up and scale mountains or look for people in caves. It's easier for you to defend yourselves. I really believe that life comes in full circles. My family and I, we were in New Mexico, and we were walking through some of these. I forget which park it was, but we were watching like how the Native Americans were living, and we walked up and climbed a ladder and saw like the little places in the mountains and the caves that they slept in, and it's almost like you would be chased back to that, where you have ladders on the side of like a little cliff, your little mountain tables, and you climb up the ladder, you go into your hole, and you've got your couple exits, and if somebody's running through, you're high up, you have a good vantage point. I mean, that's not happening anytime like tomorrow, but that's where we're trending right now.
Yeah, so pretty interesting. So, like I said, me and you and Carlos and all of them, we're probably going to be some of these people living outside the cities. So, like I say, we should actually, like I said, I'm trying to convince you to come up here and we can buy some land together.
I think it's something to think about. I mean, it's difficult because that's a lot to go through, and my wife is not, she's not nowhere near where I am on this kind of stuff, but it's something that's on my mind. That's for sure. When the pandemic hit, I was already like thinking, didn't have any solid plans, but already thinking about how to get up out of here to go to a rural, Cyan had in the chat, rural homes in small towns. Try that in a small town. I've been through a lot of these small towns. Yeah. I've been through them. People have misconceptions about them. At least the ones I've been. I haven't been in all of them, and I haven't been in southern ones. I've been in rural areas in the Midwest. What about you? What's your experience?
My dad's actually from a small town, and I actually used to live up there when I was younger. Like I'm from where I live right now, but like when I was a kid, we moved up there for a little bit, moved back there, then moved back again. Like my life is weird, but yeah, I lived up there for a little bit, and everyone in like in that town, they know each other, and like they actually all look out for one another.
Yep, absolutely.
My grandpa still lives up there, so yeah.
Yeah, no worries. Metalopoly, Meta is in the building. Thank you, Meta, as always. Metalopoly.
because Metalopoly just came in, I want to repeat this some paragraph to him because I'm pretty sure he's going to want to know what this is. Metalopoly, what this article is, it's basically like this article is like something that's already happened. Like someone from the year 2030 actually wrote this and just repeated what's been said. It's almost like in the present tense, but this hasn't happened yet. But we read through some of the article, but I want to repeat this paragraph for you because you're going to want to hear this, man. You're really going to want to hear this. Yeah. Right here it says, my biggest concern is all of the people who do not live in our city. Those we lost on the way. Those who decided that it became too much, all this technology. Those who felt obsolete and useless when robots and AI took over big parts of our jobs. Those who got upset with the political system and turned against it. They live different kind of lives outside of the city. Some have formed little self-supplying communities. Others just stayed in the empty and abandoned houses and small 19th century villages. So, like, sorry, man, I've had throat drainage. I can't control that. So, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry about it. Yeah. Here's my takeaway. If I could comment on that, because I always talk about AI and the power of it, but even bigger than that is what you were talking about is community. Just being with like-minded people. We are so far beyond politics right now. Like we what the hell is a Republican, a Democrat, or even MAGA? We're just talking about survival at this point. It's like building with like-minded people. So that's why I'm not really doing that much in person, because I got work. And then other than that, it's just, normal friends and stuff. It's not like building a community to me. But digitally, I see that happening. That's why I want to keep in touch with people like Che from No Spoon and Broken Traditions, yourself, Carlos, Saul, and everybody, Adam, and so many other people.
Jason.
Man, yeah, man, that live we did a while back when it was that your 100th show?
Yeah, let's actually.
That was so cool, man.
We can't play the video, obviously, but I'm just gonna bring it up because I'm pretty sure everyone should actually go watch that episode. Like,
it was great.
Yeah, let me go find it first, real quick.
Yeah, while Ray's looking that up, it was months ago. Ray put it together. Ray, you're the one, right, that coordinated everybody together. It's not hard. It's not easy to do. Coordinated, yeah. And how many? We had 9 people on there. I forgot how many people was on there, but 6 or 7. It was a good live, with all the different perspectives and just some of the brightest people out there. That
I don't think that was my favorite podcast I've ever done, and I don't think any will ever touch that again. I don't believe that will happen.
It's hard to recreate that. Yeah,
this one right here.
So I'm going to bring it up on the screen here. And why we're bringing this up is, as much as I talk about AI, this and in person is even better. Dr. Shiva Ayoduri talks about that. He was like, I do this in person, but here it is digitally.
Right here. Yeah, Fetterman one. Right here. All of us right here. This was by far the best episode I've ever done.
And this guy used to...
Right here. I'm trying to get it.
The Democrat is wrong.
Let me find.
He didn't win.
Right here.
And so, we've gotta be able to protect our votes, because that's part of our constitutional right. And they keep twisting the law to bypass it and get around it and manipulate it, just like Adam pointed out.
It's crazy. Carrie Lake has like 500,000 Instagram subscribers. Yeah. She's verified. She's extremely active. Katie Hobbs had like 15,000. And you're going to tell me that Katie Hobbs is more popular than Carrie Lake? It's just, they expect us to believe this bullshit that they're peddling us.
Yeah, and
didn't she get busted from the cartel earlier for with evidence and mortgage and loans and stuff like that?
Apparently, the cartels are paying off the Democrats in order to keep the borders open, to keep the drug money flowing, the human trafficking. They need access to kids.
Yeah, Carlos, was it you that sent me that video of that from Arizona where like that person at the poll said you can only vote here if you vote Democrat, you can't vote here if you vote Republican? You sent me that video, was it?
No, I didn't send you that video.
Was that you, Adam? Then?
Well, I didn't send it to you, but there was evidence that day where people were going to the polling area and they either ran out of ballots. There was an issue with printers. There was an issue with submitting the votes, and this happened in Republican-heavy counties and districts. So
can you pause it, Ray? Can you let's run down everybody in that live.
That is I'll start from the top and I'll go right, and then I'll go to the next row. That's me. That's Carlos. That's Jason, or better known as Orbital Bacon. Yeah, that's him. Then down there, that's Sal. Then that's Adam. Then that's you, Osiris, and then that's Ed at the bottom. This is all of us.
Yeah, maybe we should do a chat or something like that. I could even do better building socially. Adam is amazing. Everybody on there is amazing, but that was great. Changing topics just quickly because Carrie Lake came up in that clip, and the cartels came up.
Yep.
Let me bring this up. Let's switch over to this. Carrie Lake. This is Carrie Lake went on with the Dilly team, which is with Brendan Dilly, which is a pretty big deal because this is a savage, not politically correct group of very powerful and bright memesters. We just talked about Carrie Lake and the cartels there. Listen to this.
But one thing that I think can agree on, Arizona can be a little bit dangerous, as in there is influences from other places in the world who are very dangerous people south of the border. And I've often wondered to myself, you are so bold and so outspoken about that particular, these organizations, some of these, I guess, cartel organizations or other people. Do you give that much thought when you're out and you're speaking to groups and you're talking about what's going on in Arizona, or is that something you just put out of your mind and just keep powering through and hope for the best?
What do you mean? Like, worry about the cartels?
Yes. Yeah. Well, so in my own experience, I
think they're going to come after me?
Yes.
Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Oh, they probably are. They're probably trying.
I don't like that you're so lackadaisical about this. Wait, what do you mean? You're not, you're just like, whatever. I mean, is it?
Well, you're kind of now dancing around it like,
yeah, I got the
word cartel because you don't want them coming in.
Yeah, I got the so
I'm just not afraid of anything. I mean, the book's called Unafraid. Okay, we're dealing with cartels. The cartels are here. Of course, they're. I mean, they would love more than anything to have me gone out of the picture. Right. I think it'd be pretty bold if they took me out. I think it wouldn't go well for them if they took me out. And, we're living in Arizona. We're ready. But I will say this, on the campaign trail, we had a lot of threats on the campaign trail. I didn't talk much about them. The other side's always like, oh my gosh, I got a nasty message. I got a mean tweet.
Right.
And I'm being threatened. And I'm like, welcome to my world times 1,000. The letters I get, the nasty stuff I get. And I think I really do have some really dangerous people who want me gone. They're going to have to go through some layers of security to have me gone. And I also believe I have another layer of protection, God Almighty. Mm-hmm. I believe God wants me here, and I believe that I got a layer of protection there as well. But on the campaign,
I just think you know how I feel about Carrie Lake. Let me stop slurping all over Carrie Lake. I just think she's special.
Hey, by the way, Osiris, how was that threesome with Carrie and Candace Owens? How was that? How'd it go? I really want to know.
I plead the fifth. If you don't know, Ray brought that up in a live. We were joking around with like artificial intelligence and stuff like that. But Ray, do you have a link to that article I don't know if you have a link, if you could put in the chat. It's in the private chat? Okay. Yeah. Let's put it in I'm gonna put it in the regular chat. Here's the link to it, Metalopoly. That's a hell of an article from Medium.
Also, we could go back to the video, my 100th episode. Like, there's some more stuff I'd like to talk about. Like,
let's go back.
Also, sometime I actually would like you to try to like take the video and like edit it down for YouTube, where like it could be YouTube friendly, but still post it to you so you can post it to YouTube, because this is by far the best podcast I've ever been a part of, and I want more and more people to see it.
Yep. What I can do shorts. I have a way to do shorts pretty easily, but to edit it down might take a little bit too much time for me to. I'll try, but shorts are even more powerful right now. Even though I hate shorts, I'll just be honest. Yeah. But YouTube's pushing the shorts.
And you know something interesting about this episode too? I wish I could have gotten this done, but I couldn't because of scheduling conflicts. I almost got Steven to come on this episode too.
Steven Ignoramus?
Yep. That would
have been lit. He's coming on, believe it or not, Steven Ignoramus. I was just on his show. He's coming on my show Thursday. Yep. I don't even know if we have a time set, but it's going to be Thursday. But yeah, that's the homie.
I would have loved to seen him, Sal, and Ed have a huge conversation because that would have gotten crazy right there.
Yeah, I mean, there's some there's some disagreement, but it's he's not like a leftist though. I think if you had like a pick a leftist like
Adam is the most left out of all of us.
You think so?
Adam is then you.
What do
then you I'm not saying they're a leftist. I'm saying the most left.
No, but I think you're right. I think you're right.
I say it goes Adam, you, then probably me, then I would say Carlos, then Sal, then Jason, then Ed.
Okay. Yeah, Ed is pretty there. But I it's weird because, you know, I could say that in theory I'm for like universal basic income or Medicare for all. But at the same time, I acknowledge those things are like utopia, that you wouldn't want those with this corruption here. But which clip did you want to play from here?
We talked, there was a joke here that I want more people to see. Like, it was hilarious. You'll know it. I'm sure you'll remember
It's the
it.
same games they played in the 2020 election when they were boarding up windows and blocking out the witnesses from watching what was going on.
But this is all coming from China, though. I mean, this is the same thing happened with Venezuela, where I'm from. They did it with what is it? Chavez in 1999. That's when I came over here.
Do we not have a white person on the stream?
I'm half white.
A white person? I get that all the time, bro. It's like I don't understand where they get this from.
This stream is like the biggest threat to the Democrats.
Yo soy latino 100%, chido, ya tú sabes.
I guess I am. I just don't have a camera on.
Oh,
okay. We got three Latinos, and I guess 2 black, and I think Ray's Arabic, right?
I'm half black, half white.
And a token white guy.
Oh, okay. Hey, you know what I'm saying?
Adam called Jason a Tolkien white guy.
yeah, that was funny. Yeah. But you know what? Let me. Did you have another clip from that?
Let me see. We talked about the part where we talked about Andrew Gillum real quick.
Yeah, let's do that real quick. And then I have.
Here's the funny part.
Let's do that. Let's see if you can find the Gillum, and then I have a Venezuela take after that.
Yeah.
Me personally, that I have a lot of problem with.
And he goes against.
For that, what we're saying is he's
trying to.
The joke is like
suggested.
So then they fall into the trap themselves.
Yeah. Versus when Trump tells off the media, you know what I mean?
Democrats are snowflakes.
Children, I'll give them that. Maybe that's part of. I don't.
Right.
And I completely agree with him.
Right here.
I completely agree with
you. That's not for children to be having.
Here it is.
So I totally agree with you, Ed, on that. It's not far enough, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's not far enough at all.
In my opinion, I believe, I completely agree with Carlos. And, me living here in Florida, Ron DeSantis has been great for the Florida, for Florida. He has gone versus a pedophile company of Disney, which is the scum of the earth, in my opinion. So, yeah, going back to your point, it's like maybe showing cheese a little bit. But yeah, is he more refined than Trump when he speaks? Yeah. Does he have any geopolitical strategy like Trump does? No. That's why I completely agree with Osiris that we need 4 more years of Trump. And then great. If DeSantis wants to come next in the 8 years, fantastic. So why not come and say, hey, Trump, I back you. You made me what I am, because in reality, Trump shaped him to be what he is and backed him up.
He would have lost against Andrew Gillum.
Right here, it's coming up. It's coming up.
Correct, which I'm sure you gentlemen know, and the ladies and everyone else in the audience, Andrew Gillum was found at a hotel in South Beach doing some extracurricular activities with some male prostitutes. Now, listen, I'm not here to be judgmental. Only our dear Lord God Jesus Christ can be judgmental. So I'm not gonna get into that, rabbit hole. But yeah, I mean, imagine if that would have been a Republican. So we almost had Gillum beat DeSantis, Trump pushing over the limit. So for DeSantis to be coming now and not saying that he's not running, I find it not ideal. He needs to get back, back in Trump, get back with the MAGA movement. We need him here in Florida because the radical Marxist left wants to take over Florida. We all know that.
Yep.
So, in my opinion, yeah, Trump all the way 2024, and then DeSantis can come in if it's truly MAGA and not a rhino scum of the earth establishment. We'll see.
So, what's funny about that is like it was when Sal says doing some extracurricular activities. It was your reaction. You were going like,
I know. That was funny. I had the same reaction listening to it again.
And then Adam said, "We can say it, gay shit, gay
Yeah.
shit."
Yep. Man, that was a fun live. Let me switch the topic real quick. This because Venezuela came up. I want to get your take on this.
I one more thing.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if we'll ever be able to do something like that again, but I'm gonna see if I can try to do that again in the future. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but I'm gonna do my best to.
You know what I've seen some people on the left do, or just it doesn't matter if they're left or right, but I've only seen it on the left as much, where they just leave the line open and just say whoever's available come on through, and they do it every week. Like I seen Rational National dude do that with. He has a new group of people. He does it with the Humanist Report. Do you watch any of them?
No, I don't.
Okay, they're good. I mean, it's kind of triggering because they're whatever, but
it still wouldn't be as special as that episode was. Like I've never been a part of something as good as that. I don't think I ever will, to be honest.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but yeah, it's gonna be difficult. That's for sure.
Like to be fair, if I went on Tim Pool's podcast, even that wouldn't match that. I'm just saying it just wouldn't.
Yeah, it can't because that's not the homie. You know, that's not like nothing against Tim Pool, of course. I'm a big fan, but that's not like your people that you're building with and kind of trying to carve out your own world on the internet with. That's special. Yeah. But let me look at this. Do you know Kim Iverson at all?
I've heard of. I know her. Yeah, I know her.
I can't speak highly enough about her. I just can't speak highly enough about her. I think she's like a Tulsi Gabbard type. But she's just a streamer. But she's so polished, it's like she's like the Carrie Lake of the populist left. And she had I'm going to play a little bit of this on Venezuela. And this goes towards immigration. I don't know if you still wanted to talk about immigration, but this is a great. So she's not going to talk about immigration here, but this is relevant to Venezuelans coming across the border. On Kim Iverson, Anya Paramempi, I don't know how to pronounce her name, I apologize. I explained why elites in Washington and London are so preoccupied with Venezuela, but also why Americans should care about the country. The U.S., when we talk about immigration, we don't get into this stuff enough. And who does? The populist left does. And here, let me just let her talk and break it down.
Care about Venezuela. I mean, you've even written in your book that it's the end of the U.S. empire. And really, what I think, what I'm gathering is that this would be sort of a microcosm. It's like one more example of how the U.S. operates, how the empire operates, how regime change operates. So why should people care from your viewpoint about Venezuela?
It's an interesting question because there's the obvious answer from the perspective of Washington and London. I can tell you why they care about Venezuela. They care about Venezuela because it has the largest oil reserves in the world by far, meaning 60% more than Saudi Arabia, which has the second largest oil reserves in the world. And on top of that, they have the largest untapped gold deposits in the world. So liquid gold and gold, if you want it, it's in Venezuela on top of rare earth minerals, precious metals, all of this, it's there. And in fact, the Allied fight in World War II, this is a fact I bring up in the book, was pretty much fueled on top of American oil with Venezuelan oil because the British military was completely reliant on oil imports. They didn't have any oil of their own. And between 1939 and 1942, Venezuela went from providing 40% to 80% of British oil imports. So without that crude, we may have not had an Allied victory in World War II. And that's the level of concern Washington, London, and the transatlantic Western imperial axis maintain in Venezuela. For American citizens, the reason that they should care about Venezuela is, well, to begin with, part of the reason why we saw this surge in gas prices when the Biden administration unveiled a oil embargo against Russia last year is that in 2019, as part of its Venezuela coup, the Trump administration handed down an identical embargo on Venezuelan oil. So we cut ourselves off from Venezuelan oil imports at that time. They were providing around 7% of US oil imports, which is quite significant. And overnight, Russia at that point gained 7% of the US market. And I have this chart in my book. What that meant was, I think it probably meant that Russia was buying Venezuelan oil and selling it back to us.
So let me stop that there. You can kind of get the gist of it. We're talking about geopolitics, and it's possible, I have to look into this. This is fascinating to me, that we could have cut ourselves off from Venezuelan oil. And it's possible that the Russians bought it from them, and then we bought it from the Russians.
Uh-huh.
And then so we devastate the economy. We play a role, at least. I know we talk about socialism and all that kind of stuff, but U.S. government intervention plays a role in destroying the economy of Venezuela. And then that causes them to start migrating up to the border. I'm showing a map now. It might be hard to see. Let me try to make it bigger. Venezuela is right here. Why are we messing around with over here?
Uh-huh.
Ukraine is over here. Ukraine is over here with Russia, and they're all beefing, and they got all these problems, and we should be friendly. Why are we not friendly with this area of the country here?
Uh-huh.
That I'm not a geopolitical expert. I'm just asking basic questions. Here's what I do, man. If I'm not an expert in something, I just ask a basic question. Somebody answer for me. Why are we caring about Europe and all them? Is it possible that we can't build a relationship with everyone, all these different countries down here? From Mexico all the way down to Guatemala to Colombia. Do you have a take on that? I just sprung it on you. We haven't talked about this.
Like, I think it's just like I said, I think it's just a giant show, really. Like, they're trying to drain the U.S., bankrupt the U.S. and make us all have to beg China and the elitists for help. Literally trying to. It's like remember the Incredibles movie where he had syndrome where he was like, I'll save the day, but really he was the one causing all the chaos. That's what I think is really going on.
That's a great analogy. I'm going to have to steal that, man, because I'm trying to write articles at times, and I'm like, shoot, what analogy can I use? That's a good one. I will credit you if I use it. That's a dope one. That's exactly what it feels like.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and also something. Sal and his sister, and Sal's sister is Carlos's wife, they're from Venezuela.
Carlos talked to me about that when I was on his show. He just uploaded the first episode. If you go to Patriots of the American Republic, you'll see me on with Carlos talking about this topic. And you're right. And they were talking about how we were talking about immigration and illegal immigration. And when they listen to them talking, they can pick up the accents. They're like, oh, that's a Venezuelan. Sounds like a Venezuelan. Or that one's got Guatemalan or whatever.
Cuban.
And so they can, you can tell the different accents, and you can see that they're coming from all these different areas.
Yeah.
And it's really causing chaos.
Ed is also from Venezuela.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, I sent you the link to that video in the private chat. If you could post it in the live chat, because in case anyone who hasn't seen it, that's the best episode of podcast I've ever been a part of. I want more and more people to see it.
Oh, absolutely. We'll promote that. You got to do more to kind of use. We have all this archive of videos, and a lot of it's still relevant to use. 100th episode
of the Ray Infinity Show.
Of Ray. I love listening to stuff like that. Like, if I'm going to work, I got a long commute now to work. I can listen to podcasts and stuff. So I do a lot of listening. Metalopoly is everywhere.
Yeah.
I see Metalopoly and Jen and Peter's chat, and I love that show. I love them.
Yeah.
I got to get them back on here pretty soon.
When you do that, let me know, because I want to come on too.
Absolutely. I'll tell them, let's have Ray, let's do it, and that'll be a fun discussion. And you know what I like about them is, do you have a take on we didn't talk about this before the show, but do you have a take on the union strike at all? Or I don't know if you've followed the UAW.
I don't have too much of a take because I didn't pay too much attention to it.
Yeah. Just in general, just big picture, what I like is you've got the energy from people like Peter and Jen for unions and the workers. And I think that can help, believe it or not, the populist right.
Yeah.
The populist right should be doing better. And Trump is going to skip out the next debate, and I think he's going to meet with the striking workers. But I think MAGA should be doing better there.
Metalopoly and I talked beforehand, and like me and him both agree. We're both neutral on unions. We're not for them. We're not against them either. We're just neutral on them.
Yeah, I think unions are problematic because it's just another version of centralized power. You've got so many workers. How many workers work for the SAG or the UAW? And you've got people in power that want to make sure that those people don't rise on up. So you use the union as a guise to say, the union's there to help you get these benefits.
Yeah.
But instead, the union's endorsing the teachers union. The teachers union is just a arm of the Democratic Party.
Uh-huh. Like Jen said, yeah, unions can be good or bad. There could be unions that are asking for ridiculous stuff that makes no sense whatsoever. But then you have another union that asks for something that makes complete sense. So, like I said, I'm neutral on them. I'm not for or against them.
Yep. And with immigration, I know that was a topic that's been on your mind, Ray. It's I think we're in the middle of a crisis. Let me just show a little video here, not too long, and then get your thoughts on it. This is from End Wokeness, one of my favorite Twitter accounts. I don't know why he doesn't have or I don't know if it's a he or she, doesn't have a subscribe option, but this isn't a border crisis. It's a plot. This isn't immigration. It's an invasion. This isn't spontaneous. It's coordinated. And here's a little clip. So what we're watching is in dark at night, thousands of people. A lot of them men. I don't even see the women and children. What did they push them out the way?
Here's a theory. This is a theory that I thought of earlier today, actually. You know how there's that study that most young men are single and most young women are not?
Yep.
A theory I heard, this might sound a little crude, but this is a theory. Most of these these immigrants are men. Most of them are probably single themselves. Maybe one of the theories is they're trying to bring them in to take all the remaining single women away from American men. That's a theory that I thought of today, actually.
Very interesting. So let me absorb that. You're saying that by design, they want single men to come here. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. So they can take away the remaining single women that are my age away from single men that are my age.
Wow. Man, I don't know. I can't say it is or it isn't. I just think it's odd. Why do you think it's single men? I don't know if it's only anecdotal, but the video that I'm seeing, I don't see many women. I see some, but it's mostly just dudes.
Yeah. But it's an interesting theory.
Mm-hmm.
You should make an article about that, actually.
Yeah, I'll look that up. Here's some other video that we saw, just giving an update. This is a crisis. This is an American crisis, one of the biggest crises of our lifetime. And this is interesting. It's allegedly from Greg Abbott. This is from the official Greg Abbott account.
Yeah.
Saying that the Texas National Guard is repelling illegal immigrants today. I've been very critical. It's a very short clip. It's only 9 seconds. What do you think of Greg Abbott? Do you believe this, Ray? I mean, I'm just showing it.
Is this video real, though? Could they just got some immigrants to say, hey, let's do this quick video right here to just put out right here? Is it pop?
Yeah, it could be fake. It's Greg Abbott. I don't trust Greg Abbott. He's a Bush disciple. He behind the scenes wanted Ken Paxton to be ousted. And so I don't trust him at all. But it could be true. I don't know. And we'll see what happens. If it's true, we'll know it's true if the federal government tries to step in.
Yeah,
because the federal government will say that's our purview, because he said it's the Texas National Guard. This is what Carrie Lake said she would do.
Yeah,
this is why I think they rigged and stole the election from Carrie Lake in the midterms, is because she would come in and do this.
And yes, we both agree that happened. We don't care what YouTube says. Kerry Lake was robbed of the election in 2022.
I have evidence. People can disagree or not. I have tons of evidence. I have video evidence uploaded on YouTube. I mean, and I haven't even gotten all the evidence on video. I literally have hours of discussion about the evidence. But the reason why is this. I think Kerry Lake would have came in. She would have been doing this. She would have been F the federal government. She would have been kind of the rogue governor. Ray, do we have any real red states?
I think we do, but I think it's from I truly think we do have red states. I do believe that because a lot of them are trying to send them out as many of these illegals out as they can. But what I think is happening is a lot of these governors, they're actually scared of the federal government. That's what I think is going on. That's why, particularly the border states, they're scared of they truly are scared of the federal government, in my view. But like I said, this is another topic I wanted to talk to you about. I don't believe Texas is a red state anymore. I think it's truly a purple state now. I truly believe that.
Now, what makes you say that? I think you're right. What makes you say that?
Let me pull this up right here. This is part of a tweet I sent out I believe it was yesterday. Let me pull it up.
Now, this is important. While Ray's pulling that up, is we've got to assess where are we at locally.
Yeah.
It's so perfect because you read that 2030 article. And what happened? The people had to band together and form small groups. And right now, we got to figure out.
Yeah.
You look at Texas. I'm going to pull your tweet up here. You look at Texas and you look at Florida. The Florida governor, his idea is to run against Trump. And the Texas governor is passing bills about nappy hair for black people. What is that?
Nappy hair for black people?
Yeah, we can revisit that
I thought that was Arizona.
Let you do your tweet here, and I'll queue up the nappy-headed bill.
I sent this tweet out. I believe it was yesterday. Yeah, the 21st. Well, actually, 2 days ago, the 21st. Okay. Mm-hmm. I said this. I don't want to say it, but I will. I'm convinced Texas will go blue in 2024. It's already a purple state. Plus, Ted Cruz is very unpopular and barely won in 2018. Cruz will definitely lose, which I truly believe that. And unfortunately, I think Biden will win Texas too. I don't like it, but it's what it is.
Whoa! Breaking news! Whoa! You went way further than I expected. I didn't see that tweet. Sorry. I hate to have you. Can you read that again?
Yeah, you can actually go to my Twitter right now and then retweet it because more people need to see it. Yeah, and just go down. I said this. I don't want to say it, but I will. I'm convinced Texas will go blue in 2024. It's already a purple state. Plus, Ted Cruz is very unpopular, and he barely won in 2018. Cruz will definitely lose, and unfortunately, I think Biden will win Texas too. I don't like it, but it is what it is.
Wow. I'm going to tweet it right now and just put out the question for people. Do you think, and in the chat, do you agree? So I'm looking at Ray's tweet right now. He's convinced Texas will go blue. It's already purple. He thinks Ted Cruz will definitely lose. And unfortunately, Biden will win Texas. So I'm going to retweet this. Do you agree that Biden will win Texas in 2024?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And
so what makes you what caused you to go this route?
Well, let's go down here because this is part of it. And my friend Danny, I told you about him. I had him on my show. He actually lives in Texas, and me and him had a discussion about this. And let's read what our conversation that me and him had. Okay, this is what he said. He said it's not going to happen with Ken Paxton and Greg Abbott at the helm, and as long as there are no universal mail-in ballots. But as Ken said in his interview with Tucker, if we lose Texas, we lost the country. That's what Danny said. And then I replied to him with this. Like I said, I don't want to believe it, but it's clearly going on in that direction. Republicans are supposed to win Texas by 20 plus points, but look, not just cities that are going heavily Democrat, but the suburbs are going heavy as well. It's going to get over the edge sooner or later. And I went back and looked at the election, and I took screenshots and I posted them right here. Look, This was in the 2018 midterms between Ted Cruz and Beto O'Rourke. Okay, Beto O'Rourke, the guy who no one literally cares about, who's extremely unpopular, and he barely lost to Ted Cruz. Look, Ted Cruz only got 50.9% of the vote in Texas, or Beto got 48.3%. He barely lost, barely by 200K ballots, 200K votes. He barely lost. Look at this.
Wow.
All the major cities went blue. The south part of Texas went blue, obviously, but still though, the suburbs are going heavily blue now. That's what's kept Texas solidly red, which are these you have the cities that have been Democrat liberal for a while I should say, and then around them you had the suburbs, which are like bright red donuts, quoting Ted Cruz right there, bright red donuts. But in 2018 they became purple. And then it just spilled more into 2020. Look, Biden barely lost Texas in 2020. Look right here. Biden barely lost it by 600K votes. It was more in 2020 because it's a presidential election. More people are involved, obviously, so it makes perfect sense right there.
Yep.
Trump go ahead.
Oh no, sorry, you can go.
Trump got only 52% of the vote in Texas. 52%. Biden got 46.5%. It's not a coincidence what's going on, guys. It's pretty clear what the correlation is doing right here. I'm sorry, it's just what it is. I don't want to admit it, but it is.
It's crazy, man. There's a lot to talk about with Texas. I got a bunch of I can give you a little break there. Let me share this here. You didn't hear about the nappy. I'm going to go through a couple things of Texas. I've been following Texas as well. This is Ray Studios. He's saying there's a cause for alarm. Just be alert that Texas, if Texas goes, this is a Lone Star state. It can't go. But let me fast forward in this little clip here to when I talked about this nappy-headed bill that he literally passed the nappy-headed bill. So I'll just start it from here.
Yeah.
It's doing that loading thing. Hold on 1 second. Let me refresh it. I think I just need to refresh it. Look at, so I did a segment where I was like, hey, if these governors were serious, they would all get together. You would have people like Ron DeSantis, and Ron DeSantis would go talk to Greg Abbott and say, Greg Abbott, they're hemming up Donald Trump. We know these charges are ridiculous. They're trying to do criminal charges on a library infraction. This is stuff that's obviously taken our country to a dark place. Greg, what's going on? Let me know. What are you thinking? I'm thinking secession. I'm thinking, and I'm being dead serious. This is not a joke. I'm thinking peacefully, of course. I'm thinking we're not in the right country. I'm thinking of dropping out the race. I'm pretending I'm Ron DeSantis. Why am I in this race when who wants to be a president of a country that doesn't care or actually supports Joe Biden bringing a bunch of rainbows out on the White House lawn with topless freaks all over the place? Who wants to be? And it would be fine if the country was like, get up out of office and impeach them in a day. But no, people are actually praising it. So you know what, Greg, I don't think I want to run anymore. Let's get together, consolidate power, and maybe we can be a safe haven for Grandpappy. Governor Abbott, what do you want to do? What's on your mind right now?
The Crown Act stands for Create a Respectful and Open World for Natural Hair.
What did you say, my nigga?
Some Texans...
No, Greg, I don't think you heard me. This is 1776 or really 1860. This is antebellum. And I want peace, but we are in a bad place, and I want states to come together. And what you said something about the Crown Act? What are you talking about? Is that a plan for getting more states together? And we don't even need to go through a constitutional amendment. We just need to say we out. The biggest beef is going to be the national debt. How much of it are you going to have to pay if you're going to get this divorce? What's the Crown Act? What are you talking about, Greg?
Stands for Create a Respectful and Open World for Natural Hair.
What the?
Greg, did you hear what I said? I'm talking about serious stuff here. The Crown Act. Isn't that what Katie Hobbs signed? No, this is real. No, this is real.
Especially people of color
Oh.
have faced discrimination based upon hairstyle.
He's sounding like a leftist. He's sounding like a leftist
law
right there.
Yeah.
This is lunacy.
That
It's a governor. I believe it's an executive order. I believe, but it's just straight up lunacy.
discrimination.
So President Trump is getting hemmed up. They got this dude at the courthouse every other month. Damn near feel like every other week he's getting hemmed up in court, and obviously interfering with the next election. And you're talking about nappy hair. Greg, what's happening right now? My hair is nappy and I'm proud of it. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about something serious. You're passing legislation because people have nappy ass hair. That's the take. That's the position. Our hair, look at this. He's surrounded by people with nappy ass hair just like me. And I don't know what's the problem. I love it. It's beautiful. Okay, let's keep moving on. What is the legislation for? There are an infinite amount of things that you. So you can look it up if you want. It's, it's crazy looking back at this stuff, man. And
when was this?
This was way before Georgia. I have to double check. I posted this on Twitter June 14th. So it was this summer. And this is the guy, obviously, this is the classic Beto O'Rourke line that you said he was really close to Ted Cruz. How was he close to Ted Cruz?
Fellow Americans to follow the law, the same way that we enforce any provision, any law that we have right now. We don't go door to door to do anything in this country to enforce the law. I expect Republicans, Democrats, gun owners, non-gun owners alike
Congressman,
to
let me
respect
follow
and
up.
follow the law.
Just to follow up, your expectations aside, your website says you will find people who don't give up their weapons. That doesn't take those weapons off the street. So to be clear, exactly how are you going to take away weapons from people who do not want to give them up and you don't know where they are?
If someone does not turn in an AR-15 or an AK-47, one of these weapons of war, or brings it out in public and brandishes it in an attempt to intimidate, as we saw when we were at Kent State recently, then that weapon will be taken from them. If they persist, there will be other consequences from law enforcement. But the expectation is that Americans will follow the law. I believe in this country.
That's insane, man. And that's the guy that almost won. What did you want to play?
I'm trying to find it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it.
Well, while you're doing that, there's clips of Ken Paxton too. He did that interview with Tucker. Oh man, it's really good.
Yeah, let me find it right here. I'm trying to find it. Find it.
So while you're doing that, so let me play a little clip here. I'll give you time to find it from Ken Paxton.
We also have a voter fraud issue because we now can't prosecute voter fraud in Texas because the Court of Criminal Appeals in Texas struck down a statute from 1951 that directed the Attorney General, I wasn't there in 51, but we would prosecute voter fraud because these local DAs who are controlled by Soros in the big counties like Travis, which is Austin, or Harris, which is Houston, or Bear, which is San Antonio, they're not going to prosecute. So we were doing it. We had 900 cases. So this whole idea there's no voter fraud, complete fabrication. We were prosecuting. I only had one lawyer when I started to prosecute this. I got the legislature giving me more. We were fully busy prosecuting voter fraud. And then suddenly the Court of Criminal Appeals, all Republicans said, nope, it's unconstitutional for the Attorney General to be in court because he's in the executive branch. That was their reasoning.
To be in court, I thought.
That's not unconstitutional.
They said that was a judicial function, so I no longer could be in court. Now, if they're right. The Court of Criminal Appeals, they're the final court in our state on criminal matters. So they're like the Supreme Court on that. The Supreme Court is the final say on civil matters. So they were able to strike down one area of law for us. If they're right, the Supreme Court should tell me that no, I shouldn't be allowed to be in court on civil cases either because I'm in the executive branch. Well, and if that was right, every attorney general in the country should no longer be allowed to go to court.
I'm confused. So the attorney general of the state of Texas is not allowed to prosecute voter fraud?
That's correct. Even though the legislature directed it. It's one of the things that
This monster that we're up against is tentacles everywhere.
Yeah. And I found the video too.
Okay. Ted Cruz?
Yeah, like I said, this is from Ben Shapiro. Like, you know how I feel about Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire and all that kind of stuff. Now, But this was a good point that he brought up. That was brought up with Ted Cruz when he interviewed him. I think you guys should really watch this. And they talked about Texas right here. But let's just watch this real quick.
So let's talk about Texas. Arizona, another state where we are seeing movement toward the purple. In Texas, obviously, that's been at the top of Democrats' list. The reason that you were target number one is because they saw that as indicator that they could finally turn this kind of deep red state blue. Do you think that Texas is moving in the direction of the blue? It looks right now like a lot of folks are moving into Austin, a lot of folks moving into urban areas that are much more to the left. The voting records tend to show more Democratic turnout. Is Texas in danger of turning purple?
Absolutely. I think Texas is a battleground. And, there are there are a lot of different movements going on, but two broad political movements that are cross-cutting. One thing we're seeing in recent years is working class voters are moving right. That's making states like Midwestern states trend more Republican. What we're also seeing, however, is suburban voters, in particular suburban women, are trending left. That means states with big suburban populations, states like Texas, states like Georgia, states like Arizona, are trending left. They're becoming more purple. Texas, people think of Texas as a rural state, sort of the cowboy ethos, but we're one of the most urban and suburban states in the entire country. 3 of the 10 biggest cities in America are in the state of Texas, and 4 of the 11 biggest cities in Texas are in the country are in Texas. In Texas, between Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin, and San Antonio, over 2/3 of the voters in the state of Texas are in those 4 major metro areas. We have massive suburban populations. Basically, the way the Texas voting typically works is you have the cities, which have been Democratic for a while, the core of the cities. And then you've had these bright red donuts around the cities that have been suburban Republicans. That's what's kept Texas solidly Republican. Well, what happened in 2018 is those bright red donuts became purple as suburban voters moved heavily left. By the way, that's what decimated the congressional Republicans in California. California has a lot of suburban voters as well, places like Orange County that used to be very Republican, and they moved significantly to the left. If we're going to stay competitive, we've got to be reaching those suburban moms and making the case why these policies matter, why socialism and open borders, why that is bad for suburban moms, why that's bad for your kids, why that's bad for your future.
This is good. This is really good. My thought was inflation. I mean, that should be, and inflation's bigger than Biden. But the economy's got problems, and he labels it Bidenomics. Yeah, I mean isn't it? That's handing you on a platter to go to the suburban families and say, "Have you gone to the grocery store and seen how much this stuff is, especially if it's not on sale? Yeah. If you're not buying chicken, even chicken on sale, if you're not buying bacon on sale, that's Bidenomics." I mean, that should be a wrap. That should be easy.
Yeah.
You can start it. Thanks.
It's about the video is almost over, like 30 seconds left.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The media doesn't want any of those messages to get across, and so that means it's our job, and we've got to do it in ways that get around the gatekeepers, because the gatekeepers, they're not pretending to be Walter Cronkite anymore. They are full-on partisans. They will put on their hat and they will cheer for whatever leftist wins the Democratic nomination. And they will do everything they can to collate the information and to pitch a propaganda war. For those of us who value freedom, we've got to counteract that.
Unfortunately, I think it's too late now for Texas. Like I said, it's a purple state, and Biden barely lost in 2020. I'm sorry to say it, but I don't want to. I'm convinced, like Ted Cruz, he's very unpopular. We already know that. And he's up for re-election in 2025.
Wait, when you say he's unpopular in Texas?
Yes. They don't like him in Texas. They don't. And
Ted Cruz is an establishment corporate dude that I actually like. I actually, for the most part, like him.
I could agree to that for the most part, but still, though, he's very unpopular.
Wow.
And he barely won against Beto, of all people.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Biden will win in Texas in 2024. I'm convinced about that.
This is what I'll say. So to me, I don't get black pilled up, pessimistic off this stuff. I like seeing it. So we're seeing, to me, when you can see the chessboard clearly, then you know what moves you can make. And I
Yeah.
think for me, the obvious move is we'll see what happens with 2024, but counties have to secede from states. That's the
Yeah.
obvious move. Like, you can't have these blue areas turn into basically mental plantations. Then they use this black identity to do corruption in the elections and then take over the country. And then you can't have that. I can't share a state with you. It's beyond the country at this point. I can't share a state. And I know that's not easy. Wouldn't be easy. Won't happen tomorrow. But that's the answer. We see what happens in 2024. But I know there's a lot of red in Texas. And Texas has the spirit of Lieutenant Colonel Allen West. That's the spirit of Texas, not Beto O'Rourke.
Yeah. But then why did Beto barely almost win then? That's the thing.
I know. So I don't know the ins and outs. Ken Paxton was talking about corruption in the Tucker interview. I'm not an expert on the Texas specifics on that, but even if it's not, let's say it's all on the up and up, I'm still out. I still think counties have to secede.
Yeah. What do you think about Texas? Do you think it's going to go blue?
I don't know. I would, if I had to guess, I would say no, only because I'm ignorant. I'm admittedly ignorant on the local Texas politics. I mean, we know that they're trying to turn it blue.
Yeah.
We know that the process is not to be trusted.
Because it's already a purple state as it is.
Yeah, it's clearly a purple state, and it's supposed to be one of the more red states. I mean, that's a big state to lose.
It used to, like, if we lose Texas, we have no chance of winning another election ever again. No chance.
Yep.
And
this is when we say this is the biggest election 2024, like, we mean this is the biggest election of our lifetimes.
Yeah, like Steven and I, ignoramus, me and him actually made a bet that I told him that Trump has a 0% chance of winning in 2024, and he said he thinks he'll win, but he wouldn't give it 100%. And me and him made a bet a bet about it. Me and him, he bet me $100 that Trump will win in 2024, and I took him on the bet.
Oh, Steven. That will come up when we talk on Thursday. That was not a good bet.
Yeah, guess what? It's actually on when I had him on my show a few weeks ago. You actually go back and watch that episode.
I watched some of it. I didn't see that part. But yeah, that was good. You had good views on it too. That was good.
You should watch the full episode and see that.
Yeah, because you had over 100 views on that. Yeah. Rumble's, man. The Rumble's where it's at. I didn't even look at Rumble today. If you're on Rumble, I apologize. I didn't get a chance to jump into that chat. I got to figure it out. No excuses. But I appreciate you. We're on Twitch and other places too. We're gonna wrap up. Ray, if you want to continue the conversation, go to the Discord. Ray's YouTube Rumble channel's pinned in the chat.
No, my Twitter is.
Oh, Twitter. I'm sorry. We're going to Twitter. Here's the strategy. Twitter is a good strategy to go in on right now. I got my problems with Elon, but I said it when Elon took over. Go to Twitter. He's going to monetize it. Oh, you know what? I said I was going to play this clip. Let me find this. Let me actually play this.
Yeah.
It'll be short. You still got time?
Yeah, I got time.
Okay.
Plenty of time.
Yeah, if you're interested in Twitter at all, you've got to watch this. Linda Yaccarino tweeted this, and it's telling you where Twitter's going to go. Like what they're hoping Twitter goes towards.
Yep.
So let me go ahead and get this up. I'm on Linda Yaccarino's account, and it's an ad.
Look what Toy Mouthhead just said.
What did Troy say? I can't see it. What did he say?
Oh, Ray, stop that. You don't want to see that Brokeback Mountain. So,
what's he referring to with the gay?
I believe Steven, I believe that's what Toy Mafia is referring to.
Wait, what?
Ray,
stop that. You don't want to see Brokeback Mountain. Okay, so let me just go. Thanks, Toy Mafia. Let me play this. It's just an ad. It's a 2-minute ad.
Yeah.
It might be hard to see, but just check it out. So just for people on the podcast, we're looking at a Twitter ad, and it's kind of hinting at dating. So this is the X Everything app. I should stop. It's turning it to X. It looks like they're looking at, hey, look how good we can be as a dating app. We've got a lot of data on what people like. You know what I mean, Ray? So if you if you're a populist right, you can find a populist right person to date. You look at these dating apps right now, it's all blue, right? Isn't it, Ray? I don't know if you know about them or not, but it's pretty much all blue.
Mostly, I believe.
Yeah. So this is a little bit different. And even forgetting about politics, you can find somebody who's into yoga or whatever you are right there on Twitter. So that's why it said, hey, I think you know I think you know the point. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it looked like they're heading towards dating is what that was about.
Yeah.
So now, like reading an article on nutrition, the X app is competing with Substack. So now they're going to do where you can do your articles on Twitter, and it kind of shows nice like Substack is what it looks like they're doing. You can already post long like this, but they're going to have to do something better where you can just easily view it.
Yeah.
So now this is new. They're showing that you're going to have in-app video calling features. So you see, their whole thing is with X. And remember, the point of this is saying, I think, Ray, you're making the right business strategy to get on X and use it properly. And then you can use that to help you with your Rumble. But even better than that, I think, Ray, I think long-term, it might even take over that Rumble. You'll still stream on Rumble, but X might become that priority, especially if they get super chats.
Possibly.
Yeah. So you can call your mom on it. You can date on it. You can read your articles on it. You can pay. So say we want to go in on a pizza or something like that, Ray, I can send you the money straight off of X. So now they're going after Amazon. You can buy your sneakers off of there. Pretty soon it'll be like you can search for whatever, waffle maker or something like that.
Wow.
So I don't know how they're going to do the sports stuff with the licensing, but they already got some of that where you can kind of watch it as TV now.
Possibly.
All while earning an income by being uniquely you. So you don't have to be an influencer to earn money off of that. We didn't even talk about that, Ray. You can make money on X by just posting on X. I don't want to get too much. That's a whole different conversation. The problem with that is that if you say the wrong thing, you won't get ads. So it forces people to conform to whatever X wants you to be.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, and you don't even need that many followers. It's more about your impressions. And Ray, we talked about if you see a tweet that's going viral and you think what it's doing is it's creating this thing where you want to kind of win the replies.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's a tweet that's gone viral, maybe it's Gavin Newsom at the UN barking on about this fake climate. Well, I don't want to do that. The YouTube doesn't like that part, but because I don't want to definitively say that, but the stuff that I don't believe in with climate change, he took a gas flight there. That's not a problem, but everybody else is a problem, just like walking around with armed security. So you want to do a reply on that. Maybe it's a meme or something like that. If the tweet has like 2 million views, it's very likely, it doesn't matter really how big your account is. If your tweet is good enough, you could get 10,000 views. You could get 2,000. You could get 500 and be what they call a reply guy.
Yeah.
And that gets your impressions up. You'll get some followers. So it's become a video game.
Yeah.
And there you see, you're not going to get 6 Gs unless you're really a big person. But like Ian Miles Chung has gotten some serious payouts.
Yeah.
Now they're doing hiring. So you don't need to go to this. Yeah. I mean, it's this name a site, name any website. They're trying to take it out.
Everyone connected to a matrix.
Yep. And then look at this in the ad.
Global Town Square.
Just
wow.
I know it's just breathtaking. I follow this stuff. I've heard her already use that. Elon used that, but it's just to see it in the ad. The Global Town Square. What does that mean? That means they rule. They make the laws now.
Yeah. Oh, Cyan sent you another super chat.
Cyan super chat. What does it say here? What did I say about doxing yourself, using your data, thus a social credit score soon by selling it as dating, shopping experience, carrot than the stick? She's right on point, Cyan.
Yeah.
You see it working, the chess move. Oh man, this is a dating app, and it's actually better. Maybe you might find somebody because X is a little bit more open to populism or whatever else. And what you're really doing is signing up for a social credit score.
Basically.
And I'm on it. I'm part of the problem. I pay on. I subscribe to people. I do the $8. You have to pay the $8. You have to, if you can afford it. Of course, if you can afford the $8, because what happens is, as a reply person, if you have the blue mark, you'll get more views. That's unconstitutional. It's ridiculous, but that's what it is. So if you reply to that, and then if you subscribe to the person that the tweet's going viral, then you get a double boost. It's just like you're playing Contra.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
Completely
that's what
agree,
it is.
man.
And it's all wrapped up in, it's all a social credit score where Twitter makes the laws. What happens if you get banned from X? You don't get to do the dating anymore? You don't get to do the pay option? I don't know. I haven't heard anybody answer that question.
I have no idea, man. I can't comment on that because I don't know the answer.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm just rhetorically throwing it out. Thank you, Cyan. Of course, always appreciate you. But you see what is Elon Musk is handling all the rollout of the technical stuff. He's a beast at that.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to the draconian lockdown algorithm, that's all World Economic Forum, Linda Yaccarino. She said that.
Yep. Completely agree, brother. Completely agree.
Well, I appreciate everybody. Any last words, Ray? It was fun. We'll do it anytime.
Yeah. Guys, make sure to go follow me on Twitter at RayStudios29. The name is in my handle right here. You can see it right here, RayStudios29. So next time you're on Twitter, go and follow me. Look me up there and follow me there. So yeah,
Word.
that's what I'm focused on building right now, other than my other platforms.
I like it. It have a simple focus. Push it. It's great. Great strategy. I don't know how you like to do it. I follow most everybody back. So if you follow me on Twitter or whatever, hit up the Discord as well if you want to continue the conversation. Thank you, Metalopoly, Cyan, Omar, Casual Goats is the homie. He's the one that started the Discord.
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all. I can't even say that enough.
Yeah. Appreciate you. Appreciate all you guys.
Yeah. We're out, y'all. Peace.
Peace.
That's old school. That's how we used to do it back in the day. Peace. It used to be, I'm so old school, I remember peace out.
Yeah. Yeah. Or there was peace mofo. So, yeah.
Peace, mofos.
Yeah.